Hey guys, so this video is going to be about homework explanation on chapter 6. Thank you for those who asked the questions on my Google Classroom. I love you guys, okay? Any people who's shown here, I love you guys so much. You're so responsible for your study, and I'm so proud of you guys. So these are the questions that actually I got from students, and it's pretty good questions, okay? So good job for looking for these questions. They're pretty representative, so we're going to talk about those. But before we talk about those, I'm going to summarize everything for you first. So for all the questions in this chapter is basically about this golden equation, y equals mx plus b, or ax plus b, okay? And then all you are doing is to find this equation. Basically, you need to find m, find b. Okay, there are different ways you can find each, so we're going to summarize them first. So basically, I'm going to change it to green. This one here. To find m, there are two ways to do it, or several ways to do it, but we are just going to talk about one way first. So m equals to always equal to change in y divided by change in x. So delta x, delta y. This is something that might not be talked about before, but if you know this is gonna work every time. Okay, I didn't really check Mr. May's video, so I wasn't sure if she talked about it or not, if she used a different method. But this will guarantee you that it works every time, and we will use it as we talk about textbook questions. Okay, so m equals to change in y over change in x, or this is when you are given a data stack. Okay, like you're given, for example, x equals to what, y equals to what, several numbers here. If you are given this, you are required to actually use this equation to find m. So if you are given a graph, m equals to still delta x over delta y over delta x, but we call it rise over run, which is actually what you are going to learn in high school, but it's really useful. Okay, so rise over run. So basically, if you're given a graph like this, so let's say 1, 2, this is 1, 2, this is -1, -2, okay? This is 1, 2, 3, like that. If you are given a graph like this, okay, and they're going to ask you, so for example, the question is, what's the linear equation for this graph, this blue line here? So you basically calculate rise over run. What does it mean by rise? Rise is basically how much higher you go from 0, okay? From 0 here, how much higher do you go? So that's the rise, which is 2. Okay, which is 2. Run, which is, what is run? Run is horizontal distance you go, okay? Horizontal distance, which is here. From 0, with the horizontal distance you go. So basically it's 3. Okay, so this is rise over run, so 2 over 3. And we need to determine the signs. What do I mean by determining the signs? So do you see that this graph is actually going downwards from left to right? Okay, going downwards from left to right. Or if you have a different scenario, say a graph like this, the graph is actually from left to right is increasing. Okay, if you see a graph that's decreasing downwards like this, is a negative graph, a negative m value. So the m is -2 or 3. It works every time. Okay, so it's something that you will learn in high school, but I think it's really easy for you to do questions if you do it this way. So yeah, so if you have a graph like this going upwards, whether it's this, that, or that, no matter what the slope is, the m is positive. But if it's going downwards, it's negative. Okay, so yeah, if you don't understand it, it's fine. We'll talk about examples in textbook questions. Okay, so B, everybody knows, in 6.2 is the y-intercept. Is the y-intercept, which means that where the graph is touching the y-axis. In this case scenario, what's the y-intercept? Is 2. Okay, oopsie, is 2. So the y-intercept is 2. Okay, so by the way, this graph here should have the equation of y equals to m, which is what we calculated here, m x plus b. B is 2, so plus 2. That's the linear equation for this graph. Okay, so yeah, that's, I think, is all you need to know to get started on textbook questions. So first question, describe the relationship between number of octagons and number of sides in this pattern. Okay, so there are two variables for us to talk about. So between the number of regular octagons. So that means we have to set up a graph. Number of octagons, number of octagons, like that. And the number of sides. So the number of sides. Okay, let's count it a little bit. The first one has 1 octagon, second has 2 octagon, 3 octagon, 4 octagon. The sides 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's why it's called an octagon dummy. Yeah. Okay, so but anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, I'm going to stop here because it's enough for me to actually calculate it. So I said in 6.1 that you don't have to actually put the big numbers here. You can put, for example, this is 8. So this is 8 plus 8 plus 6. So for example, and this is 8 plus 6 plus 6. So again, right now you have already learned 6.2 and 6.3. So let's say I think that this way and this way both will work. But I did 6.1, I talk about this method already, so I don't want to touch on that method. I will just talk about the delta y over delta x method. Okay, so anyways, you just have to find out the y equals to mx plus b. Okay, and you have to find out what b is. So y in this case is the number of sides. So let's say this is y, this is x. Okay, you just have to find out what this equation is. So we talked about m equals to delta y over delta x. Okay, so what's delta x? What's delta y delta x then? So that means you have to actually think this is delta x. The difference between x values, which is 1, because 1 and 2 is 1. 2 and 3 difference is 1. 3 and 4 difference is 1. Okay, so number of sides is y, so delta y therefore equals to 6 and 14. Oh, sorry, 8 and 14. It's 6 difference, and 14 and 20, it's 6 difference too. So perfect. So delta y, which is equal to 6, delta x, which is equal to 1. So m equals to 6. Okay, so woohoo, m is done. What is b then? Okay, then you have to think about it a little bit. Okay, so now we have y equals to 6x plus something. Okay, now let's test it out. Ask yourself, in this case, if x equals to 1 here, which is the first set of value here, okay, which if x equals to 1, 6 times 1 plus b will give you a y which is 8. Okay, then what is b? Can you solve it now? Of course you can solve it. This equals to a 6 plus b equals to 8. b therefore equals to 2. Okay, therefore you know that b equals to 2 now. Then we summarize it up. The answer should be y equals to 6x plus 2. Woohoo, done. Okay, next question. What linear equation model the relationship between the numbers in each table? Okay, so I'm just going to do 2 of them because if you know 2 of them, you know the rest too. So again, we need to find out y equals to mx plus b for each question. Sometimes is r and p, not x and y. Sometimes is f and w, not x and y. It really doesn't matter, okay? So in this case, you want to find out, let's say this is y, this is x. You want to find out p equals to mr plus b. Then still, you just have to find out what m, what b is, okay? So it's not always x and y, but there are 2 variables, you know that. Okay, so I want to let's talk about this question in particular. So in the first page, I want to pull it out here. I told you if you are given a data stack, you are going to use delta y over delta x. Okay, if you're given a graph, you're going to use rise over run to find m. So let's find out m by delta x over delta y because you're given 4 data stacks. So I'm just going to talk about b and d, for example. Okay, so b, you need to find m first. M equals to delta y over delta x. So delta y, therefore, which is, sorry, I don't want to use delta y, delta x now. I want to use p and r because it's given to us as p and r. Okay, so r basically means x, p basically means y. So delta p over delta r. Delta p is 17 and 24. The difference is 7. So the difference here is delta r equals to 1 because 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3 is 1 difference. So the m basically equals to 7, which is delta p, over 1, which is delta r, okay, which is 7. So m equals to 7. Great, we have b left. So now you have y equals to 7x plus b. Okay, you just have to find out b. So ask yourself using one set of data. Let's use the first one. When r equals to 0, p equals to 17. Okay, so let's plug it in. So I used x and y again. Oh my god, I've just fallen in love with x and y and forgot that they give us r and p. Okay, so when r equals to 0, p equals to 17. So p is 17 when r is 0. So I'm just plugging the numbers in, okay? So 0, r equals to 0 here, so I plug it in here. P equals to 17, so I plug it in here. Okay, so equal plus b. So can you solve it now? This equals to 0 because 7 times 0 is 0. Plus b equals to 17, so b naturally equals to 17. So you know m, you know b, of course you can get a linear equation, which is not y. Oh my god, it gives us as p. P equals to mr plus b. So m like that. Done. Okay. So next question, same idea. It's not x and y. Oh my god, it's f and w, but it's the same thing. In the end, you need to find out this is x, this is y, okay? So w equals to mf plus b. Again, don't be confused when I change the letter. The letter just means x and y, okay? You have to find m, you have to find b. Okay, let's find out m first. So m equals to delta y, delta x, yes, but let's change the letter. Delta y, which is delta w, delta x, which is delta f in this case. Again, it's not hard at all. Don't confuse yourself by just changing of letters, okay? So delta w, what's the difference between these? Okay, so -4 minus that's 0.5. So I'm basically minusing these two numbers. Okay? So that's the difference between them is that changed to a plus. So it's negative 3.5. Okay, negative 3.5 because minus a plus b equals to b minus a, 0.5 minus 4, which is negative 3.5. Okay, 3.5. Delta w equals to negative 3.5. Okay, and the delta f equals to 1. The difference is 1, okay, by each section. So 1. So m equals to negative 3.5. M is done. Yay. And what is b? Again, choose a set of numbers. Let's choose the first set of numbers. When x equals to 1, or sorry, not x, f equals to 1, be really careful about the letters, okay? Sometimes it's not x and y for some weird reasons. But f equals to 1, w equals 0, negative 0.5. So we know that the equation we have now is w equals to negative 3.5 f plus b. And b is what we want to know. We plug numbers in here, okay? Then we get negative 0.5, which is w, equals to negative 3.5 times f, which is 1, plus b. Can you solve for b? Of course you can. Negative 0.5 equals to negative 3.5 plus b. And then we need to throw this little baggage over to the other river, to the other side of the river. So you change the sign, which is changing to a plus. Okay, equals to b. So in here, basically is negative a plus b equals to b minus a. So it's b minus a. So which is 3. b equals to 3. Okay, b equals to 3 is done. So can you get out the equation? Of course you can get the equation, which is w equals to negative 3.5 f plus 3. Done. I know I'm talking a little bit fast, but it's a video, so you can replay all the time. Okay? So, yes, next question. Oh, this is an interesting one. I actually calculated beforehand. So, yeah, I calculated beforehand just so we don't waste time counting the squares. Okay, so yeah, for basically it's saying there are 3 different sizes of the frames, and each frame is composed of that many squares, that many squares, and that many squares. I want the equation again when we have a data stack. For example, the size, which is these numbers here, okay? small, medium, large, and which is 10, 20, and 30. And then the number of tiles, which is 16 tiles, 36 tiles, 56 tiles. How do you count the tiles? Just the little dots, just count it, okay? So delta x, delta y. Y equals to mx plus b is what you want to get. This is x, this is y. Oh, x is always on the left, y is always on the right, okay? So m equals to delta y over delta x. So delta y equals to, difference between them, 20. Difference between them, 10. Okay, so basically delta y is 20, delta x is 10, is equal to 2. M equals to 2. So b, therefore you want to calculate b. Now the equation you have is 2x plus b. Now you want b, find a set of numbers. The first set of number works. So when x equals to 10, y equals to 16. So plug numbers in. Y equals to 16 equals to 2 times 10. I'm just rewriting it here with numbers in it. Plus b. Can you solve for b? Right? Yes, okay. It's the same exact idea. If you know the method, it's actually one method applies to 1,000 questions. So it's plus 20 here. You want to throw it over to the other side of the bridge. So 60 minus 20, because you changed the operation sign. That's 14. Not 14. Why do I write? Why do I say 14? Negative 4 equals to b. Okay, and you're done because you're done with m, done with b. So y equals to 2x plus b is plus minus 4. So that if you write plus minus 4, is basically a minus 4 because this is a giant negative sign there for you. Okay, so you can just write it as minus 4. Done. How many tiles are needed to make a frame that's 30 by 30? So if it's 30 by 30s, you can actually count is 56. What are the dimensions of a square frame made with that many tiles? That means y equals to 196. Okay, number of tiles equals to 196. Just plug it in and solve for x. You're done. Okay, so yeah, next question. The speed of a falling skydiver is shown for the first 3 seconds. Okay, so basically you are shown part of the graph and you have to extrapolate. Okay, so how long would it take for the skydiver to reach terminal velocity? What's terminal velocity? Is it this number here? Air resistance prevent most skydiver free fall from falling any fast. Okay, so that's the terminal velocity. That means the fastest they can go. Okay, so that means where is the velocity? This is y, this is x. Do you agree? Yes, you agree. So x is time, y is speed. So how long would it take? So that means it's asking us about the x, and then to reach terminal velocity, which is given to you, which is 54. So the final speed we want is 45 meters per second. So basically they're asking you when y equals to 54, what is x? Then you have to find the equation to plug in. Again, you have to find out mx plus b. Okay, so on this page, we talked about it. If you're given a data step, you use this equation here. If you're given a graph, you use rise over run. Okay, what does it mean by rise over run? Let's do it again. So where's my page? Okay, rise over run. Cool. So first of all, you can ask yourself about the sign. Okay, so is this graph going upwards or downwards? From left to right, it's going upwards. So m is a positive number. Okay, so m is a positive number, and then you determine a rise over run. So basically, you form a triangle. Or this triangle works too. Okay, so but I'm just forming a triangle here. Rise over run. What is rise? I'm just going to write it down. Rise is the vertical distance. It goes up in the triangle. So basically the height of the triangle, which is y. How much y did it go to? So it's from 0 to 30. Okay, this is 30, this is 0. So basically the rise is, this is basically delta x. Okay, the change in x, which is 30. And then the run, which is from 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's 3. So it's 30 over 3, which is 10. Is it positive or negative 10? Positive 10, because the graph is going upwards from left to right. Okay, m equals to 10. B is the y-intercept. Where is the graph meeting y at? In this case, is 0. Okay, so it's 0. So y equals to 10m plus b equals to 0. So plus 0, we can just not write it. That's the equation. Okay, so let's plug in the number. When y equals to 45, what is x? So 45 equals to 10x. So x basically, I'll just do it normal way. Otherwise people will be confused. Okay, so we want to solve for x. This is times 10. We throw it to the other side of the river. We change the opposite operation sign, which is divide, and x therefore will equal to 5.4. What's the time? Second? Okay, second. That's the answer. Okay. Approximately how far would the skydrower fall in that time? Ooh, how far? They're asking you about distance. Okay, for B here. If they're asking you about the distance, how far it has fell. So time times speed will give you distance. This again an equation that you will learn in high school. By the way, the grade 10 physics is so much fun. I just love it so much. Time is 4.5 second. Speed is the terminal speed, which is 45 meter per second. You just calculate it and you will get how many meter it has. Basically, it's 4.5 times 55. Okay, sorry, 5.4 times 54. Oh my god. Sorry guys, you get what I mean. So why do you think the graph is approximately a straight line? It's a linear equation. Of course, it's a straight line. Okay. So, yeah, next question. So this one here. Okay, Ian works part-time at a movie theater. He earns that much money per hour. The relationship between his pay and the time can be this. Okay, this is a linear equation with b equals to 0. If you don't see plus b here, that means b is 0, okay? M equals to 8.25. So show the relationship on the graph. Ooh, they ask you to graph it. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, so whenever they're giving you a graph or ask you to draw the graph and they're giving you M, you always know that M equals to rise over run. Y equals to rise over run, okay? And you know that B equals to 0 in this case because there's no B here. You only have M, okay? And M equals to 8.25. Okay, so let's say you have a graph there. First of all, is M positive or negative? Is positive. Yes, you're right. So the graph will go this way instead of going this way. Okay? So you basically start with your y-intercept. Y-intercept is 0 in this case, so you start at 0. So that means your graph must be going through this point. Okay? And it's intersecting with your y-axis at this point. So basically, it must be experiencing this point here. Okay, so you start with the y-intercept. We'll start with B, so which is 0. Okay, and then you're going upwards. You know you're going upwards. And 8.25 is basically rise over run. Can we say that it's basically 8.25 is basically equals to 8.25 over 1? Do you agree? Yes, you agree. So basically, the rise can be 8.25. The run, they can be 1. Okay, so if we start from 0, the rise would be the vertical height. I'm just going arbitrary here. Let's say this is 8.25. This is how much higher you go, okay? And then 1 is the rise. So 1, if this is 8.25, then 1 should be like this little maybe. And then so that means you go up 8.25 and then you go horizontal 1. So that basically is rise over run, okay? So, and then this is the next point your graph will have. Then connect these two points and that will be a linear equation graph, okay? So basically you're using the rise over run backwards, okay? So if you actually see that's the triangle we created. This is another triangle we created. This is also the same, 8.25 over run, which is 1. Okay, this is how you do it. Explain how you know the graph represents the equation. Oh, We just know it. We draw it according to that. It's okay. You don't have to explain that. It's a linear equation. So y-intercept is 0, and then rise over run. So rise is 8.25, run is 1. So that equals to m, which is exactly what the equation is. So in works 8 hours in 1 week. Okay, so the hour is 1 week. So t is the time is 8 hours. So t equals to 8 hours. Use two methods to determine his pay. You can plot it in the graph. Let's say if t, this is t, I know this is t, this is p, but if t equals to 8, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and if this is 8, you just go way up there to actually see what y is. But let's just not use that way now because it's not realistic in the graph to do that. We just plug in the equation then. The equation is p equals to 8.25t. When t equals to 8, just plug in the equation, times 8 equals to p. And whatever you calculate will be the answer, okay? I don't have a calculator on hand, and I don't want to use my phone. So, next question. Create a table values and a graph for each linear equation. Okay, so for one of them, I'm going to choose 2 to do. We can choose this one because it's a fraction. And we can choose, these ones are pretty representative, actually. I'll do all of them. It's fine, I'll do all of them. So I will create table value and a graph. So a table value for this one is basically x equals to 4. So it's not really related to y. So however y will be changing, x will always equal to 4, 4, 4. Y can be 1, 2, 0, 3, 100, whatever, okay? So it's independent of y. So in this case, the graph should be just the problem is not about y. So you just basically figure out where x is. X is 4. Okay? You just keep the graph wherever, like whatever value does y have, x will always be 4. So it's basically a line here. Done. Okay? So basically this line shows that x is always the 4. It's always, the values are always at the 4 point for x. That's what this graph represents. See, it's not touching the y axis at all. Okay? So it's not related to y. So this one here, table value is really easy to construct. So you basically ask yourself, this is k, this is m. You ask yourself, oh, if k equals to 1, what is m? M basically is 13 and then 1 over 5. You just keep going. Plug in the equation and calculate, plug in the equation and calculate. Okay? So the graphing part is more fun. So I'm going to do the graphing part. Okay. Again, what's the m for this equation? You know m equals to rise over run, right? So m in this case is 1 over 5. Hope you realize that because that is basically 1 over 5 times k. So m is 1 over 5, so this is rise over run. So rise is how much you go up is 1. How much you go horizontally is 5. Okay? So you know that information now. Now, what's the y-intercept? What's the y-intercept? Y-intercept is 13. So you start from 0. You start from y-intercept that we talked about in the last question. So let's say y-intercept is 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm just going to move this a little bit downwards to be easier to see. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's where you start. You start at the y-intercept. Okay? When you start at the y-intercept, you ask yourself, how much do you go up? How much do you go horizontally? Rise and run. And it's a positive m. So basically, it's going this way. Okay? The graph should go that way. So you go 1 over 5. 1 is the rise. 1 is the rise. That's basically you rise it up to 14. This is 13, right? Okay, and you go horizontally by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 should be here. Okay, that's another dot. So you have 2 dots on your graph. You basically connect the line. That's your graph. Okay, is the graph going upwards because m is positive? Yes, it's going upwards. Okay, if it's negative, however, you have to actually go down 1. That's the vertical distance too. So, and go this way to achieve, sorry. You have to go down and go this way for 5 to achieve a downward graph. But in this case, m is positive, so it's an upward graph. Okay, So this question here, let's graph this one too. Ooh, it's a downward going graph. Why? Because m equals the negative number. Okay, it's fun. So graphing, just having this on hand. Okay, so what is m? M is negative 3, b equals to 4.5. And you know this is the y-intercept. Okay, and then this is rise over run. And you all agree that rise or negative 3 is equal to negative 3 over 1. So rise is negative 3, rise is negative 3, run is 1. Okay, so let's start by the y-intercept, which is 4.5, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4.5 should be here. Okay, and then that's the y-intercept. You for rise, you go negative 3. That means you go down by 3. 1, 2, 3. You should be here 1.5. Okay, so and then you go run is 1. So you go this way 1 for a positive 1. That will be a 1. Okay, so that's 3 here, negative 3. That's a 1. So that's your second point. This is your first point, y-intercept, and this is your second point. You connect the graph, you are done. Okay? That's how you do it, basically. So, next question. Ooh, these are fun too. Again, if you're confused about previously, like how I calculate the rise over run and stuff, this question is a perfect chance for you to review the material. Okay? So, again, you have to calculate what is mx plus b. You're always dealing with m and b. Okay, that's all you're dealing with. So b is the y-intercept. Look at the y-intercept here. Is it 0? Yep. So we ignore the b. So this equation will look like y equals to mx. What is m? You have to calculate m equals to rise over run. Rise is the vertical height, and run is the horizontal run. Okay, what triangle do you want to form? You can form these ones. You can form these ones. You can form these ones. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so let's say I want to do a mediocre size triangle like that. Okay, you basically talk to yourself what's the vertical height that you have been through. So the vertical height, is from 0 to negative 8. So basically you can say this is negative 8. And the run is from 1 and 2. So basically it's a 2, so negative 4. So m is a negative number, so is the graph going down from left to right? Yes, it's going down, so m makes sense. So y equals to negative 4x will be the answer. Okay? In this case, the graph is going up. You know m is a positive number here. So m equals to rise over run. So create a triangle. Please, like, just if you can see like exact points, you just calculate by exact points. Okay, so that means like these kind of points, you don't know what the number is, so it's really hard for you to actually like how much is this? Is it 0.1 or 0.2? You don't know. Okay, hopefully you know what I mean. So you want to find a number that's actually exact. This number I like because it's right on the dot with 2. This dot is okay because it actually looks like half of it. This looks like half of it too. Let's use this one here. Okay, basically create 2 points and create a triangle. So the run first is 1, 2. Okay, so the run is 2. The rise here that's a 0.5. That's not 0.5, but 0.5, like half of the block. One block is actually 2 to 4, which is 2. 2 to 4 to 6, which is 2. So a 2, 2, and 1. So here is how much? 5. Okay, so that will be your m. Is it a positive number? Yes, because the graph is going upwards from left to right. So y equals to mx plus b. M is this, x. B is the y-intercept. What's the y-intercept in this case? Where the graph is intersecting with y. So which is a 2 here. Plus 2. Okay, done. As long as you understand the rise over run, you're good to go. Just find 2 points on the graph. 2 points on the graph and create a triangle. Okay? So, these are fun too. Let's just reinforce the concept a little bit. Okay, so first one. Y equals to mx plus b. You want to find out m, find out b. So m is rise over run. So you want to find two good points and create a triangle out of it. So I like this point, I like this point. I will just do that. Can you find this point and this? Can you use these 2 points here? Of course you can. Okay, it's the same exact triangle. So anyways, rise is how much you go up on the y-axis. So, or go down or go up, vertical distance. It's a 1, -1, okay? -1, or do you say 1, that works too. Because from this, why is it an eraser? Okay, so this point here, you go up by 1. So that's the rise. Run is you go right by 2. 1, 2. Okay, because this is 0 0.5, 0 0.5. This is 1, this is 1. Okay, you have different scale for y and x axis. So okay, so this is 1 and run is 2. So that will be your m. The graph is going upwards from left to right, so m should be positive, so you're right. B is the y-intercept, which is -1.0 in this case. So b equals to -1.0. Y equals to, the equation therefore should be mx plus b, which is -1. Okay? Because b is -1. Okay, so this case here, oh, this is a fun one too. Oh, it's exactly the same one we talked about before. Okay, so you see this graph here. Do you have any y-intercept, or does this graph have anything to do with y-axis? No, because no matter what y is, x is always 4. So that means this graph is x equals to 4. Okay, done. This case here. Okay, relationship between Celsius degree and Fahrenheit is modeled as that. I hate Fahrenheit. I never use Fahrenheit. Graph the relationship for values between. Oh, okay. So let's graph it first then. I'm just gonna talk about the graph, and the B and BCD I think are easy for you. Just plugging in the equations. Okay. So the graph. Let's say I'm gonna use a ruler tool here. I want to do a good graph in this case. Okay, if you have that, you know this equation here. M is, still in the ruler mode. M is 9 over 5. B is 32. Okay. Oh my god, I have to graph 32. B is 32, which means y-intercept is 32. Okay. Gonna move it to the center. Oh, sorry. I want to move this to the center though. Okay, it's fine. So y-intercept is 32, so let's count 32. So this is 0, this is y, this is x, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm just going to mark here 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Oh my god, I hate my life. Okay, that's your y-intercept. Okay, you start from this point and you go your rise over run thing. So this is your rise, this is your run. So that means the vertical distance of your triangle, the height of your triangle is 9. The width of your triangle, or the horizontal distance, is 5. Okay, and this is a positive m, so you know the graph is going upwards. Oh my god, I have to actually go a lot upwards. That's why I'm saying, like, I really have to move this down. Okay, so in this case you want to go up 9. So let's go up 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that's how you go up by 9. Okay, that's your rise. Your run is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just doing really arbitrary distance here, okay? I know my graphing is not exact at all. This is run, which is 5. So this is another point you have on your graph. You have 2 points already. 2 points connects a straight line. So your straight line will look like that. Okay, that's your graph here. Done. So BCD is basically plugging in numbers. So when you know temperature is, when you know Celsius is 100, plug in C. You want to find F. When you say this, in this case C, oopsie. In this case, C equals to 0. You just plug in C equals to 0, F equals to 32. Okay, so yeah. Oh, at what temperature are the values for C and F the same? Ooh, that's an interesting question. If they're the same, we know that C equals to F, right? When C equals to F, we can actually substitute F by C or substitute C by F. So we can say that C equals to 9/5. I'm just substituting F by C. Okay, and then you combine the terms. You want to, let's say you want to group the C terms on one side, the constant terms on one side. So you can say that I want to group this one to the other side to find its partner. So this is a plus. So if you move this little baggage over to the other side, you change it to a minus. Okay, this is 32 on this side. Can you combine the similar like terms here? Of course, this is 1 minus, group the constant together, and C. Okay, so this is -4/5. Okay, don't ask me why, please. This is 5/5, right? Okay, 32. So C equals to this little baggage here, the constant you want to move to the other side. You divide it by -4/5. But why divide? Because you throw it over to the other side, you change the sign. Okay, C equals to 32 times flip 5 and 4. So reduce, divided by 4, divided by 4, -30. Oh, sorry, 40. -40 here. Okay. Good. So, do you have any other questions? I don't think so. Let's see. Let's check. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, perfect. So any questions, please let me know and I'll remind. And I know that's really complicated. So okay, maybe we'll just summarize it up. Sorry guys for the back and forth. So when you want to find M, there are two methods to find M. If you're given data stack, you use delta Y over delta X. When you're given a graph or you are asked to draw the graph, you use rise over run, okay? And the sign of M determines whether it's going down or not. In this case, it's going down, so M must be negative. If for example, this case, M is going up, or the graph is going up, so M must be a positive number. And B is the Y-intercept. When you're graphing, always start with the Y-intercept. When you're graphing, always start with the Y-intercept and goes your rise over run method. Okay, so yeah, good luck.